When you first read Matthew chapter 8, it might just look like a collection of miracle stories, right? But what if I told you it's actually something more? It's this incredible, masterfully built case for one single idea, authority. And not just any authority. We're talking about a power so absolute that it redefines reality itself. So let's dive in and break down how Matthew makes this powerful argument.
So here's our game plan. We're going to follow Matthew's logic, step by step. We'll start by seeing how this divine authority first shows up. Then we'll look at how it's recognized by people you would never expect. And finally, we'll tackle the big question. What does this authority ask of anyone who comes face to face with it?
All right, first things first, let's set the stage. Because to really get the impact of what Jesus does in this chapter, you've got to remember what just happened right before it. So Jesus has just finished delivering the Sermon on the Mount. I mean, talk about an incredible display of teaching authority. The crowds were absolutely blown away. But Matthew immediately wants to show us that, hey, this isn't just about impressive words. As Jesus comes down that mountain, we're about to see those teachings spring into action. And this really poses the central question, doesn't it? What do these actions reveal about the power behind the words? Well, that's exactly what we're here to find out.
And the very first demonstration, wow, it is a powerful one. We're talking about the healing of a man with leprosy.
Now, to wrap our heads around this first miracle, we have to understand what leprosy meant back then. It was so much more than a medical diagnosis. It was essentially a living death sentence. I'm not exaggerating. It wasn't just a physical sickness. It was seen as a symbol of spiritual uncleanness. And that meant complete and total social isolation. You were cut off from your family, from your community, even from worship. You were an outcast.
So listen closely to what the man actually says. This isn't just a desperate plea for help. It's an incredible statement of faith. Notice, he doesn't question Jesus' ability for a second. He's totally confident. You can make me clean. He simply submits to Jesus' will, if you are willing. In that one short phrase, he's acknowledging that the authority he's facing is absolute.
And so when Jesus reaches out and says, I am willing, be clean, what happens is a complete restoration. He doesn't just heal the man's skin. Nope, he cleanses the uncleanness. He restores his place in society. He brings him back to life in every sense of the word. This is an authority that doesn't just fix things, it makes them completely whole again.
The next encounter really builds on this theme, but it comes from a source that is completely unexpected. It involves a Roman centurion, and honestly, this story might be even more startling.
You have to put yourself in the shoes of the original audience. This would have been a real shocker. A centurion was a symbol of the Roman occupation. He was a Gentile, a military commander, a man of worldly power. He is the last person you'd expect to approach a Jewish teacher with this kind of profound faith.
The centurion's response shows he instantly gets the nature of Jesus' power, probably because he lives and breathes authority every single day. He gives commands, and they're obeyed, period. He recognizes that same kind of power in Jesus, but on an infinitely higher level. He's basically saying, you don't need to be physically present. Your word is your power. Just give the order, and I know reality itself will snap into line.
And Jesus' reaction to this? It's incredible. The text says he marveled. Just let that sink in. This outsider, this Roman officer, understood the nature of his authority in a way that very few others did. It's such a powerful statement that this authority and the faith that recognizes it just smashes right through all cultural and religious barriers.
Now, the demonstrations of authority are about to escalate big time. We're moving from the human body to the very forces of creation and the unseen spiritual world.
The scene is just pure chaos. A violent, life-threatening storm erupts, and you've got experienced fishermen in the boat who are terrified. And where's Jesus? Asleep, perfectly at peace. When they wake him, he doesn't perform some long ritual. He speaks directly to the storm. He rebukes it, like a commander would rebuke a subordinate, and the result is immediate and absolute, a great calm.
And this leads the disciples to ask the core question of the entire chapter. You can almost hear the awe and fear in their voices. What kind of person, what kind of authority can just command the elements of nature? That question reveals that they are just beginning to grasp the sheer scale of the power they're witnessing.
So from the natural world, the story immediately pivots to the supernatural. And here, the demonic spirits have no doubt about who Jesus is. They recognize his authority instantly. They even seem to understand his role in cosmic judgment, begging him not to act before the time. And again, with a single word, he commands them, demonstrating his absolute sovereignty over the spiritual realm.
So after witnessing this incredible display of authority over sickness, nature, and spirits, the chapter pivots to ask a crucial question. What does this kind of power demand from those who want to follow it?
We're presented with two potential followers. The first is a scribe, who makes a bold, enthusiastic promise. The second is a disciple, who makes what seems like a very reasonable request to fulfill one of the most sacred family duties.
To the enthusiastic scribe, Jesus offers a stark reality check. He's saying, look, following me isn't about glory or security, it's about abandoning all of that. It's a life of total vulnerability and dependence without even the basic comforts that animals enjoy.
Now, this is one of the most challenging statements in the Gospels. It sounds so harsh, but the point isn't a lack of compassion. It's a statement of radical priority. The call to follow this divine authority, to enter this new life of the kingdom, is so absolute that it must come before every other obligation, even the most sacred cultural and family duties.
The takeaway is crystal clear. The same authority that can cleanse a leper, heal from a distance, calm a storm, and command demons demands a response of total, unconditional allegiance. It's not something you can just add to your life. It's something that redefines it completely. So when you put it all together, Matthew 8 paints this stunning, multifaceted portrait of authority. It's a power that restores, that commands nature and spirit, that is recognized by the most unlikely people, and that asks for everything in return. And that leaves us with a final thought. This chapter isn't just a historical account. It's a presentation of a reality that claims to be ultimate. And it forces us to ask the same question the disciples did. Who can this be? And, perhaps more importantly, if this is the nature of true authority, what does it demand of us today?